This is a story about the time my brother and I got a lifetime ban from Chuck E. Cheese. So I had broken my wrist skateboarding a couple days before this event. I had some pretty powerful painkillers, hydrocodone, Norco, whatever the hell they called it. And I was sharing those with my brother. We were feeling pretty good before we even got to Chuck E. Cheese. We get there, we hang out with the mutual friend, say happy birthday to the kid, and ate some pizza and drank a couple of beers. Fun stuff abounds. We're playing skee ball with our little cup of tokens back before they used to use cards. So I'll tell you how long ago this was. And so my brother had like a pretty good full cup of coins. I had wasted all of mine already. And so I was just kind of following him around, just enjoying the crazy lights and sounds and being pretty much checked out of the world at that point. So my brother's playing skee ball and this little, toddler, 3-year-old comes, stomping along the front of the skee balls between like him and the little ramp thing and kicks over his cup of tokens. My brother, being a PE teacher, being, pretty much just a totally mellow guy, is like, whoa, easy there, little buddy. And that was pretty much his words to the kid as the kid goes stomping off, kicking other things and, disappears. Apparently, the kid's dad was within eyeshot of his kid stomping around, kicking over coins, and did not like the fact that my brother engaged with his kid. And got in my brother's face about like talking to his kid, yelling at his kid. I don't remember the story. I'm just kind of like, what the fuck's going on? And my brother's like, whoa, easy there, dude. He kicked over my coins, I just told him to kind of be careful. And the guy's like, like in his face. So we kind of like de-escalate the situation, or de-escalates itself. We kind of walk away. My brother cleans up his coins. We go try and figure out what else we're going to play. And that was kind of the only fun thing going on there. They had a couple of racing games, but they sucked. So while we were like looking at another game where I think you push a little thing that pushes coins and you get tickets, and I don't know. Like I say, I was on painkillers and beer. My brother sees the kid's dad talking to somebody else, and he keeps like looking over at my brother. And me, apparently, but I was kind of non-existent. I was just kind of floating on an ethereal plane and, somewhere else. But my brother being, kind of concerned that he's going to get jumped from this guy, goes, I'm going to go make sure everything's cool. So he walks straight at the guy. Me, having a martial arts background, kind of assess the situation and go, I don't really want to be right behind him if this guy just charges him. So I kind of do a little circle around the side as my brother goes up to the guy to try and, say, hey, are we cool? What's going on? The guy gets really pissy that my brother approached him again and starts like, mouthing off to him, and it's, quite confrontational. I'm kind of slowly sneaking up, back off of my brother's right shoulder. The guy does recognize that I'm with my brother, and they kind of see that, the situation's like pretty intense. I forget what happens, but this like backs off again. My brother and I kind of decide, this is not good. Let's go say bye to Scotty. Let's go do something else. Let's get out of here. So we go over, and my brother gives the rest of his tokens to Scotty's kid, who's like, woohoo, yay! And I takes off to go, ride the little mouse, rat, whatever it is, thing, toy. Anyway, so we say bye to Scotty, and so we're heading out. So Chuck E. Cheese had 2 exits. They had like the one main one where everybody comes in and you check in, and like, you like get whatever wristband, whatever party you're with. And then they have like a backdoor exit that you can't come in, but you can exit it. That's like on the opposite, or not opposite side, but like all on that front wall, but over on the edge. So we're walking down, that's over where the skee ball is. So we're walking out that way. I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm like, a couple steps behind my brother. I see the exit ahead of us. I'm like, woohoo, we're getting out of here. I don't have to worry about like, keeping my spidey senses on high alert for somebody jumping us from behind. My brother sees that, between that exit and the front entrance, there's like a bunch of booths, and he sees the guy sitting there with his family. And I'm like, oh, shit. And so right before we get to the door, he turns left to go down that little aisleway along the windows, along the booths, to go say something to the guy. And I'm like, at this point, he sped up, and I'm kind of dragging my feet and stumbling a little. And I'm like, crap. So I'm kind of like rushing to catch up to him. From what I kind of remember, he said, like, I was going to say something to you about what a a-hole you are, but I see that you're with your family and your kid, and I don't, like, want to set a bad example or something along those lines. Basically, it was kind of like, he went to antagonize, but then he decided last second to take the higher ground, yet he still said something. And so then he keeps walking. I'm still not quite, like, to him. The guy gets up from the bench and charges at my brother's back and, like, jumps on his back to try and put him into a headlock. He kind of gets his arm around my brother's head, and they kind of, like, go up against this, like, little half wall. But as the guy, like, jumped up, he pushed me on my broken wrist against the little half wall. The guy grabbed my brother. I don't remember much, but seeing the entire room kind of go red and like my sinuses clear from that initial like rush of adrenaline. But at the same time, I'm a black belt in martial arts, and instinct kicks in. I grab the guy by his long hair. I give one good yank as I throw a side kick into his ribs, and I felt ribs crack as he goes flying through the air and lands on one of the booth tables. I look over at my brother. I feel a hand on my shoulder as I look back to the right, and the guy's on the table curled up still, so it's not him. I look back to to the right, and it's the mom, the wife, whatever she was, in my face screaming at me like I'm the bad guy here. My brother, from his story, he said that he went barroom fight style. So when he felt the guy on his back getting into a headlock, he went to grab his leg to try and like lift it and run backwards with the guy. But as soon as he went to grab his leg is when I pulled the guy and kicked him, so the leg just disappeared. He turns around, sees the guy on the table, sees the lady in my face, comes like, looks at her like, what's going on? And next thing we know, there are 3 big bouncers. And I didn't know Chuck E. Cheese had bouncers. No, they're not dressed up as Chuck E. Cheese characters. The rat didn't come out to like scold me. It was just 3 guys in Chuck E. Cheese shirts who were all about a foot taller than me and at least double my weight. And I just kind of go, he attacked him, is the only words I said. They pretty much said, we don't care. We're taking your picture. You are banned for life. And then they took our picture and basically escorted us to the door. And not just us, the guy and his family too. All kind of got escorted out the door. Basically, they're like, we don't want this in our establishment. We are done. You're out the door. You can't come back in. We ended up chasing the guy as my brother called the police. We chased the guy through Home Depot. It was like this whole, like, my brother couldn't quite let it go at that point because he attacked us, so he felt he was in the wrong, and he was kind of pissed off about it. I think it's all being in that, not so sober state of mind that we were in. That, like, we had some level of self-righteousness within us to do this. So the cops show up. Right as the guy was like coming out of Home Depot, and cops show up, and they're like, flagged him down. We were talking to them. They sit my brother and I down on the sidewalk right outside of Chuck E. Cheese while they're talking to the guy with broken ribs and his wife. And basically we see them go away. My brother gets all pissed off that they like sent them to their car, because he wants them arrested. He wants to press charge for being attacked or whatever. And they come over to us like, listen, we just want you guys to go home. This is over. And the cop shines his light in my brother's eyes and my eyes. Mind you, I think I had like way more in me than my brother. And he just looked at me, he points at me and goes, you drive. And then the cops bail. My brother and I just kind of go, What? And that's the story of how I got a lifetime ban. My brother and I got a lifetime ban from Chuck E. Cheese. Side note, I have been back to a Chuck E. Cheese. No, my picture's not on the wall, although I am 3,500 miles away from this incident. I don't think that they were serious about a lifetime ban. I think it was probably for a couple of weeks that they kept our pictures up until the manager's probably like, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, enjoy.